No. No. That's up to their parents and whatever, but certainly not for the lower schoolers and the middle schoolers.
And as this program's family physician, I plead also for adults who are going to have trauma in their lives as a result of this, for people who are sick, who have heart disease, who are depressed. Be alert to changes in them, because we need to help them.
Yes, I think we underestimate the extent to which people sitting in their homes are absolutely present in the lives of those they see sometimes in these situations. It may have nothing to do with them practically. It has everything to do with them emotionally.
Exactly.
I did just a couple of small notes. We all checked in with people yesterday that we know. And the first thing you do is call your kids. And I've got a daughter who works down in the shadow of those buildings. She walked about 125 blocks to get home yesterday. And she said she saw the most wonderful scenes on the street. A shoe store that was open, and people were out handing out sneakers to women who were in high heels, giving them shoes, because everybody was walking uptown. The bridges and tunnels were closed, and there were emergency trucks going through, and emergency truck drivers stopping and loading people on the back of the truck, to the point that people were actually standing on the back bumper. She said she saw somebody holding onto a truck with a briefcase in his hand, standing on the back bumper so that somebody could give him a ride out of town. People handing out water, people handing out sandwiches and food. You pull together.
When I was downtown, or at the beginning of the morning, down by Fulton Street, which is just 2 blocks from the World Trade Center, we managed to get into a building which was basically a dorm for Pace University Business School, and the kids were calling all of their friends and neighbors in so they could use the internet to contact their parents so everyone knew they were safe.
Again, so many people couldn't reach anyone by phone. I think the internet saved a lot of hours of horror yesterday.
The way of life in New York yesterday was email.
That was it.
It had to be done by email. Again, my wife's school, she's got 500-600 students. Couldn't get through on switchboards, cell phones are down. Everybody was communicating by email.
One of the striking things for me was I have a sister who's a nun outside of Jerusalem on the West Bank. And for the last 2 years, you know, we've always been emailing her during times of trouble, during when there are riots or the uprisings, thinking, are you safe? And it's, are you okay? And it was really chilling to get an email from the West Bank in New York City asking, are you okay?
Usually it's the other way.
Other way around.
Yeah.
I call all of this spiritual. You mentioned my other role in life, and really, I think when people reach out to each other in this way, it is a kind of spiritual growth.
Well, last night, and we've said it before, the number of firefighters, the number of police who were down in this virtual pitch black darkness with the smoke surrounding them until they could get the generators started and get the lights on. The number of them who said to me that they were on vacation, that they were miles away, that they came in by hitchhiking, by walking to get in and help out. And the number of them who said, just hours ago, I stood and watched some of my best friends walk in first, not knowing that they would be the first to walk in and the ones who wouldn't walk out. And they would come up to you and say, can I just tell you the name? Is it okay if I just tell you his name and tell you how wonderful he was? And I got a call yesterday, which is my favorite call that came in yesterday from somebody who said, I just want to say one thing to you. Remember the reason that the United States picked the eagle as its national bird? It's because it's the one bird that isn't afraid of a storm.
So many stories from this disaster in New York, that coverage from ABC America. Let's get a different perspective now and cross to CNN.
Don't know that the debris was actually taken out of the actual buildings that fell. But if some of you haven't been down there, but the area was very constricted by lots of structural damage and things that were in the street. So a lot of the debris that was taken away, I suspect, was the debris that blocks the entry and exit of the vehicles that have to go in and out of there. Altogether, I think so far, we account for about 45 bodies.
So are the other ones still buried in the debris?
I imagine that that's the case, yes.
Are there still sounds of life? Are the rescuers hearing with listening devices? Are they still hearing signs that there are people alive?
The rescue workers do have listening devices. They also have dogs with which they're searching. And we're making every effort to get the people out of there.
Are there indications that there are people alive, though? In other words, are they hearing things with the listening devices, or are the dogs hitting on scent?
We can't say at this time.
Is there any way to approach the area through a
Is the city
tunnel?
still on a heightened state of alert today?
Absolutely,
And
yes.
how long will it remain in effect as far as the emergency?
It's going to last until further notice.
Commissioner, could you explain to us why there are so many trucks around?
The World Trade Center, putting the towers back up as a symbol of anything right now?
There's no question we're going to rebuild. I can't say that we know the exact nature yet of how we're going to do that, and we'd like to meet with lots of people.
Do you believe that the skyline will be whole again?
The skyline will be whole again. Exactly, what will be there, I think we have to leave to giving some people some time to consider it and to think about it. And also, the reality is that the people in New York City are going to be whole again. We're very, very strong.
Is there any sense of the cost at this point, and the state, the city, the federal government is paying for the relief efforts?
Governor?
In my view,
That was New York Mayor Giuliani trying to put a handle on the grim statistics from this disaster. Now, before we cross back to ABC America and Peter Jennings, let's return to Australia's own grief over this. It's been confirmed by the Department of Foreign Affairs that 3 Australians have been killed in the World Trade Center tragedy. Foreign Minister Alexander Downer also said that at least 58 Australians are still missing. The department, meanwhile, continues to operate a hotline for anyone worried about family or friends in the United States. The 24-hour number is 1300 555 135. That number again, 1300 555 135. Now, let's